That's nice. Okay, I'd like to open the Town of Mccanna's Planning Commission meeting. First item on the agenda is review and recommendation of the Walnut Court Lot 102 revised subdivision.
It looks like we don't have the applicant present today in the room. However, this is a pretty routine one, so I'll just run through it.
Okay.
This is the third out of, I believe, 5 total of the Walnut Court Townhome chop-up plans, as I've been calling them. Essentially, you build the townhomes, you get the as-built, you figure out where the foundations are, and then you subdivide them into lots, so you don't end up with a lot line going through anybody's living room.
Right.
So that said, this plan's already been reviewed by the town engineers over at Gateway. Everything is compliant and it is ready for your recommendation.
Okay. Any comments by any planning commission members? No? Dan, you have any comments?
No, they've addressed all the technical comments for the plan.
Okay. All right, well, that does that then. How about a motion to recommend town council approve the Walnut Court Lot 102 revised subdivision?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Lamar. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next item on the agenda is a continued review of Mccanna Square Phase 2 retail.
Can I ask just one, I'm sorry, I might have missed it. In our packet, we had a subdivision for the Panorama.
Yeah. So I can, because that's essentially what they're doing with the townhomes, but it is a duplex in the R2 district. So technically, although there's really no other way that you could subdivide a duplex into larger lots than what's already there, both of the lots are too small per zoning code. So they have to go over to the zoning hearing board at the end of this month. They
Okay.
bump to September.
I think you sent us an email on that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
But that's good to announce.
Now that you
Anyway.
reminded me, okay.
Okay, and you are?
Jerry Kladowski with Civil Environmental Consultants.
Okay.
All right, I am just gonna go ahead and put on the developer, Kevin Doherty. We have zooming in, as well as our commission member, Brendan O'Donnell. We also have the town attorney, should we need him on Zoom. I think we're good to go.
Okay. Do you have any comments first, RJ?
Well, so this is just, there have been a couple different revisions pursuant to the last engineer's letter. The main question coming out of this comment letter were some details about parking, basically. But I was gonna let Jerry pretty much go and do his thing.
Okay, go ahead then.
And let me know if you want me to pull any PDFs up.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. So really, I guess the first issue that we had here is the lighting plan must be submitted. So we have reached out to our consultant on that, and they're going to prepare a new lighting plan for the new layout. I don't think it's going to be an issue. Parking lot got smaller, so hopefully we can use less lights. Second comment from Gateway was the detail for the dumpster enclosure. We did not provide that on the original one, but I do have a bunch of copies, if I can pass these around. Just to give you an idea of what the dumpster enclosure is going to look like. Oops.
There you go.
It is. That's not even in Pennsylvania.
It's a dumpster enclosure.
And of course, the brick will match the architecture of the building. So if the building's lighter, the brick will be lighter. Similar materials to the building. That's typically the way those are going to be constructed. But it's a 25-foot wide dumpster enclosure. So it's plenty for trash plus recycling.
And this is what faces Blazier?
It backs against Blazier. Blazier is actually probably 10 feet higher than the dumpster enclosure.
But this is what is visible from Blazier.
Yeah, you'd be able to possibly see it from Blazier.
The front end or the back end?
The back end.
That's what I thought.
Should be all
So
brick.
you'd see brick.
Yes.
Okay.
The Blazer's up above it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's,
So you'll look down on it, so.
you'll see the top of the dumpsters.
Does any of the landscaping block it at all?
Yeah, there's landscaping along Blazer Drive that will help shield it from view from Blazer Drive.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you want, RJ, if you want to pull up the landscaping plan. I can't see it on these screens, but I
Give
don't
me 1 second, because I
I
might
might-
have to
complicate the
download here.
technical issues.
No, I think now we've got it. Like, there was just a surprise USB cable to get the camera working. Okay, so I've got the retail revised drawings. It's in there.
Yeah, there should be a
700 is the
that should be a
landscape.
separate.
It's just gonna take a minute to download a 27 megabyte. We'll get it up in a second.
So the dumpster pad is actually askew to Blazer
Right.
a little bit. So you're gonna kind of see the side elevation as you're coming.
As you
in.
approach.
Does take a while, doesn't it?
68%.
Mhm.
All right. Any idea what page the landscaping? plan-
C700.
Thank you. And oh, are these, Chris, can you turn the TVs up top on?
So you'll see it as you approach on Glacier Drive, you'll see the back of it. But this elevation is probably 10 feet higher than the dumpster enclosure itself.
What happened?
That didn't seem like what we wanted to happen.
Now they're up on the big screens, but not.
Oh, okay, yeah. But then we have to turn this TV back on.
It's a little difficult to see.
Turn the other ones off.
There we go.
Okay,
Great
got it.
job.
We got
So
it.
there are trees planted up here along Glacier as well.
Okay.
I was really scared that leader at the bottom was gonna disappear. Okay, let's get back to the plan now that we've got the tech issues sorted. So we talked about the trees along Blazer, right?
Yeah, there's a slew of trees right along Glacier Drive there.
Can see them a little better zoomed in.
Yeah, that's fine.
And there's actually one at the back corner as well. If you can see, there's actually two of them on the side, but one in the back corner is a larger shade tree, it looks like. And then shrubs around the back side of it as well.
No, this is, Mr. Chairman, may I speak?
Certainly.
This is something that I had mentioned in the last meeting. I don't think you all heard it. I mentioned to some people up here, and that to get to these shops, if you are coming from Hickory Hills and their little way to get down is more west, no one is going to walk down the sidewalk around and come in.
Mhm.
So my idea, and this needs to be done at Mccanna's Crossing too, because when all the kids cross over to come get ice cream, they walk through the grass and there's no steps there. There's no access from that nice sidewalk there. So would it be possible, and I was thinking that, did he put it in there? I don't see it.
Right there.
Oh, you
Yeah,
did
there.
add it already.
Yeah.
Right
It
there.
was so small. Thank you. Forget it, all of
Small
that.
plants. Small. I
Okay,
hate these
it's
small
very
plants. You
small.
can't say yeah.
What a good idea. Good job.
We made sure we followed up with them after the last meeting. on that one.
I forget who I'm dealing with. I
Yeah.
apologize. Good, thank you. I think that will be really helpful. Keep the grass nice. I think that,
Yeah.
Okay.
Shortest distance always.
thank you. I'm done. Thank you.
Just follow the beaten paths of grass and then
Yeah.
you're making sidewalks.
Right. I didn't want it to be behind the dumpster, though. I was afraid it might end up being where the dumpster, too close, you
Right.
know. So it's-
And then the last item, the last substantial item would be the parking demand analysis that was provided. The comment here basically refers to the code requiring 189 spaces. The parking study was based off of 147, but in reality, there's only 135 spaces on the site. I think the crux of this is that, even with the 135 spaces, we're still averaging almost 5 spaces per 1,000 square foot of of retail space. So for the developer, that's a fair amount of parking, and doesn't believe that he would need additional parking. That parking count also includes the spaces that are in front on Mill Street. Those were assigned specifically for the retail portion and not for the senior living portion. The senior living portion of parking is all provided on either side of the senior living building. There were some questions in here about a 10 to 15% vacancy factor, as well as some switch if the retail shops get converted to restaurant, that the demand for parking would be higher. Again, we don't have any control over that, but I think the idea is that the developer would limit what would go in there, understanding that, retail is the purpose of that. So the goal would be to keep it as retail use. So I don't know, Kevin, you want to weigh in on any of that?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. The other thing we considered was the fact that it's, we're located next to the park and ride, and really took a transit oriented development kind of view with this. And they have several, I don't know if they've submitted their final plans yet, but the last plan that I got from the Port Authority showed over 400 parking spaces. And then of course there's, just the original land there that I know will someday be redeveloped. But we felt like, based on our experience up at Mccanna's Crossing, our parking ratio up there for mixed use is 4.13, and this is, I believe, 4.9 and some change. We just felt comfortable we had enough parking, and that we didn't need more asphalt than necessary.
Okay, I'm going to chime in because we reviewed the plan. We do have concerns that the parking is short. Kevin, is there any opportunity? I mean, do you have reciprocal agreements with Continental on the other parking that's available? Because
I mean, there's a reciprocal easement and access agreement for all three parcels, Dan. And we don't have anything specifically with the Port Authority, but those are public spaces. So
I don't think people are going to use the Port Authority spaces, Kevin. I think we have to be honest about that.
Yeah, that's pretty far away.
They're too far.
I disagree, because I think some of our customers were basing it on being those riders, those people going in and buying coffee and using the services of the development. That's we're counting on it.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree, but I might, as long as the reciprocal agreements are there, what my concern is that I don't want the town to get called from residents that are living there saying that, the restaurants are using up all their spaces, and then we're in conflict with each other. Because
No, I understand that.
that's the biggest concern. So if you're assigned on your parcel, how many spaces is it, Jerry? What's the number?
135.
135. The parking demand analysis said 147.
So what was the ordinance? That was 180 something?
180. Yeah, I mean, the ordinance is outdated. I mean, we can.
Well, it's
189. Yeah.
189. Okay,
Yeah.
so by code it's 189. I think it's 147, but they're going to come in at 135.
Right. But they have the right to use other spaces that are on the entire development project. Is that what I'm hearing you say, Kevin?
Yes, sir.
Other than the spaces for the senior living, which are in its own little parking lot. Wait, and that's pretty far away too.
What's this? I heard it, but what's this language about restaurant, no restaurant? How does that play into this? Because it sounds like the original development is no restaurants. I missed the meeting, so I'm a little.
It's a food court.
So there's about 16,500 square feet of food hall.
which are basically it's kind of a newer concept from this area, which I mean, I'm a fan of it for sure. Basically you bring in various chefs, different, it's
Yeah, they
like a
have it
really
down on the
fancy
north
food
side.
court.
It's,
Yeah,
named,
yeah, it's one of those.
One of those grill, north side grill or something down
Yes.
in Allegheny Center.
So,
Been there.
I mean, it's definitely a premium, you know.
I got you. And then how much non-food square footage is there?
So, right, that whole building is 16.5. The food hall, can you go to 200?
I'm going to stand because I can't see.
Yeah. So that large L-shaped building there, the whole thing is 16.5.
Okay.
So 10 or 12,000 of it is going to be the food hall space,
Okay.
and then the remainder will be retail.
Are you talking about the building on the left?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
And what's the building on the right?
Daycare, and then there's a retail space out in front.
Yeah, and just to clarify, the building on the left, the food hall piece would be really on the far left side where the building breaks. Everything to the right of that would likely be traditional retail, service retail. So the food hall would be more like 10,000 square feet out of the 16.
You draw a
I got
vertical
you.
line right there.
I got you. And then you said this is daycare?
Yes,
And what, you said,
that
so
smaller
how many
building,
square feet of daycare we talking?
10,000.
10,000 daycare? And another 1,800 of retail.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the comment here is that the parking demand analysis assumed 18,300 square foot of retail space would be small specialty shops. If a restaurant use or uses ultimately occupy the space, the peak parking demand would be even higher than what was calculated in the letter. So really, the retail portion of that is 6,500 square feet plus the 1,800. And what the letter is indicating is that if that becomes restaurant space, the demand for parking would become greater. And the idea is that the developer, would limit what could go in there. If a restaurant comes in, you either revise the parking analysis and in an attempt to get it to work, or it stays as retail.
And how do they calculate parking for the daycare?
It was based off of, the ordinance, I think, was like 22 spaces or something was required.
Daycare for basically it's what is the facility, what's their actual demand. Like there's
Right.
not a hard minimum for daycare.
I'm just trying to
Parking.
net out.
I
What
think they
should
were
be-
allotted 19 spaces. in this.
The tenant requested 15 based on employee count and pickup and drop off. And their hours of operation, they're pretty much done by 6:30 in the evening. And they start about 6:30 in the morning.
Where would these extra parking spaces go if we required them? Back up to either I guess the 147, I don't know. If the ordinance says 189, I guess that I have that question up there too. Where would these extra parking spaces go if required?
They would have to go to the left of the food hall, would be the only place that they could go.
Right. Which is where you'd want.
What is over there now? I can't tell.
Nothing, it's just flat.
That's land to be
There-
developed?
It was originally cited as flex office pre-COVID.
Right.
Now, what we've got on the docket for next month coming in is a master plan amendment looking at townhomes.
Okay. So if we took some of that space, it would not be developed as townhomes or whatever, and it would be adjusting the parking to the higher levels. It would be likely in that space across the road. Am I seeing that right?
They'd have to dedicate some additional property for that, I would assume.
Yeah, they'd have to. Looks like they have I don't know how they're subdividing this line.
Yeah,
That's the
that's the
Yeah,
subdivision
so the
line.
subdivision line's running right up. Right there.
So they'd have to move that.
That can be adjusted.
Can right now, huh?
That's 54 more spaces. That's basically the size of the parking field behind the building added to the side of this.
How are you getting those top 8 spaces in with the grading up there?
It's a 2-to-1 slope.
You can get it in from
Mhm.
there? Man,
Yeah.
that's,
We had a wall in there, but
Yeah,
pulled it out.
okay. Is that,
it was a tall wall.
yeah, I'm
Tall wall.
surprised there's not a wall where it's shown now, but if you say it fits, I believe it.
Yeah, it adds a ton of imperviousness to add 54 spaces that puts you over the typical 5 per 1,000.
I mean, my personal 2 cents, and I'm only one of many, but I'd be willing to compromise at the 147. But I mean, I've had people gripe in my ear about, and Kevin, I know you're online, but about parking at McCann's Crossing not being enough.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
and it's true.
I've
I've been one of
I've
those
lived
people
it there
going around
too.
like, really?
So, I mean, I know it's only 12 spots, but, you know, seems to me like a practical investment.
In Mccanna's, you've traditionally had, special events. Would special events be happening here that might soak up remainder of parking spots and cause any additional problems that we could maybe design a solution around as overflow parking in the area that we're not now using for, flex space or whatever?
Well, the town green center right there in the middle has always been meant for community activities.
Okay.
That would be the only place where we could put any type of additional parking, but doesn't seem like a good swap.
You can't do
Yeah.
both.
No.
We don't want to cut into that,
Yeah.
certainly.
No.
No.
But I'm misunderstood then. You're saying you cannot put additional parking across the road in that space that is yet undeveloped?
They're referring to this section
Yeah.
right here for being the town green.
I know where the town green is, and I don't want to interrupt the town green.
Right.
But you said that's the only place you could put additional parking in the town green?
No,
Well, no, aside from,
Oh, aside from across the road?
yeah, there's across the road and then down are 2 empty parcels that are, as RJ said, they're on the docket to be a townhome development. So the only place that would be left would be the town green, and we don't want to take out the town green.
No, but if all we needed was 12 spaces, if that's the difference between the 135 you're proposing and the 147, whatever number that represents and why that's legitimate, I don't know. But if that is the compromise number, you're looking at 12 more spaces. Does that dig into that undeveloped space so dramatically that it can't further be developed as townhomes nevertheless?
No.
what about you have a road on the right and some empty space? Couldn't you put some parking along there?
It looks like it's a playground for the daycare.
Ah, yeah,
Is that what
that's
that's-
right.
okay.
You're
It's
right.
fenced in, that's the only reason I interpreted it.
And what
Yeah,
about
You
the
got
other
it.
side of that road? Is
Yeah.
that all,
That's
is
too
that
steep.
graded or something?
that's
Yeah.
steep.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
There's nothing over here that could go.
Okay,
Jerry, there's nothing to the right of that loop road, that open area. Go further to the right.
over here.
Yeah, further to the, I don't know if RJ can push that PDF up.
There we go.
You might have to go to the next, go to 300, the grading sheet. Yeah, there's some space there. Sort of right off the main access into that rear parking lot.
I mean, there's that long stretch
Helicopter.
right in there.
Jerry, would parallel parking be applicable around the top portion along Blazer Drive?
Yeah, that's what we're just looking at.
where are you talking, Dan?
He's
Can you
talking
point it
about
out
on
here?
street, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about like above the daycare, running parallel to the entrance drive, through the parking lot, running parallel spaces instead of 90-degree.
Yeah, the grading's too steep there. I mean, one of the things Dan brought up was over there to the right where that entrance driveway comes in. Can we carve in a couple there?
What about a shoulder? A shoulder?
The shoulder.
Could we make it, is there an existing shoulder that's going to be designed along there that could be used as, you know, a row of additional parking if needed?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about. Can we put head-in parking similar to what's in front of the daycare right now around that curve? It doesn't go any further that
That's,
way.
yeah,
I meant the other way, I'm sorry, back
Oh.
to the dumpster real quick. I mean, the dumpster pad sitting in prime real estate, flat, level, nice area. Is there another place that if you kick the dumpster pad somewhere else, you could get something going back there in that corner? I don't know if you get 12, but
more than zero.
seems like it's nice and flat.
At least a cool 4, maybe even
Well,
6.
Yeah.
It's flat because we made it flat.
I know, but I'm just, it's right next to
So if we,
parking. Again, I'm not gonna solve your problem tonight, so.
Never know.
yeah, there's
I should stop doing that.
switch gear pad right there for electrics. We don't loop the electric through.
Even like to come in this corner right there, like
You
drive
might
that
be
in
able,
there.
you might be able to tuck it in.
Yeah,
there.
right there.
say.
That's a good suggestion. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
I mean, we could.
Is that our
Find
job
another
to
place
find them
for
for us?
No.
I would think that could be a little more flexible. I don't know.
Also true.
We want 12 more, go find them.
I think Jerry's capable of finding 12 more spaces. He's gonna have to think about it if that's the planning commission. I
That's
mean,
fine.
there's a place to grab some 1s and 2s there around, you know, you could probably sneak a couple more on the lower side of the building going towards the assisted living too. Yeah.
Same to take acre arrangements. That whole area there's been such a wasteland of asphalt.
Well,
We agree. We don't want you to take.
12 spaces, let's find them.
Yeah, I think we're trying to, I mean, we understand that the square footage requirements and everything in the code are maybe a little overparked, you know, certainly. We don't have as much of the flexibility in this district as we did in the McCandless Crossing district, because that's just, you know, a different zoning district of the town. But I think that ultimately we're willing to try and work, you know, around that issue, as long as, you know, the concepts that have been presented so far, I understand their concepts, you know, until a lease is signed, it is what it is. But that said, I think that we all agree that they're going to anchor this development and make it a really attractive, you know, mixed use place to be. So ultimately the goal should be let's not, you know, let's not let the parking either low or high get in the way of kind of what the vision was for this area. So if we
I
can
think if
squeeze
we have
another
somebody
12 out.
Telling us that should be 147,
Yeah,
and we don't build 147, and then somebody comes back and says, why did you build this?
Yeah.
And somebody told you it had to be one, I mean, just would seem to be an awkward position to be in.
Yep.
We can justify the 189 because we have this other piece of data
mhm,
that tells us 147 is a better number. There's nothing out there giving us a 135 number.
yeah,
So I wouldn't vote for it, but that's just one vote.
At 135, you're still at almost 4.8 per thousand, 4.8 spaces per thousand.
yeah, Jerry, that works for retail, but we
Right.
know we're gonna get restaurants in here. And it's gonna be popular, and there's gonna be people that come in and drive and looking for spaces, and it's inevitable. I mean, you know, I don't think Kevin wants an underparked facility either. I know that, but, and you don't.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, why don't you see what you can do to get 12 more spaces in?
All right, we'll do it.
Okay, what else we got?
that's it. The other items are pretty, as Jerry stated, it's the revised lighting plan, and they've shown us the dumpster pad. That might move. That might be an opportunity to,
Yeah.
make some spaces there. I think that was a good suggestion.
Is this stormwater going into that existing?
This is all planned out. It goes to their.
Okay, because they were reusing that old, the old pond
Yeah.
per se.
I saw that too, yeah.
And
So,
we have underground there too, don't we?
No, there's a small BMP down near Pine Creek that we put in.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, I think that was all done at the, I
Using
mean,
the
they haven't
Trader- the old
added
Trader
impervious,
one.
you know.
Again, I mean, we do a plan that's based on so many square feet of something and they come back and if this is,
Right.
there's 100 square feet more, then
I would say if
Below the
anything, it's
wetlands.
probably reduced the impervious a little bit, so what was done in the master plan should still hold up at least for stormwater, yeah. Well, so what I had on the agenda was, I wasn't sure if you all would want to take action or not because of the, the parking question, so, that's what we had for plan review.
should we table this or does it need to be?
I think we should say.
Yeah,
It's my last name.
we can. I would probably go back to Kevin and Todd and make sure that we get you guys on at least another 30-day extension for the review because we're going to be bumping up on the the MPC timeline.
I mean, is it possible to approve it based on the 147, assuming we can put a plan together that, you can present to council if that's the only item?
What's the lighting say about?
I'm not too worried about. I mean, that'll
The lighting we can figure out.
It's 12 spots.
compared to parking lot.
Dan, what do you think?
I'm fine with it. We can, between RJ and I, we won't let it go to town council until the plan is ready. Until
Okay,
they,
So we'd approve it contingent upon parking count equal 147
right.
or greater.
Yeah,
Or great.
yeah, I was gonna say at least. If they can buy us a 148, I'll take that too.
Always good to be on the high side.
Do we have any preferences or restrictions against how they find those 12?
They have to have them on their property.
I think Rob's suggestion, and Jerry and I looked at it quickly, but there's a possibility to move the dumpster pad and then use that area over there and gain the spaces on that end.
Yeah, one question I have. So in the grading ordinance referring to walls, anything over 4 feet has to have a setback in front of it. So anything 4 feet and under does not require that 2 times the height of the wall setback. It wasn't real clear in the ordinance.
If it's not clear, then it's in your favor.
Okay.
The only thing I remember, the big thing about walls is a fence.
Yeah, over
mean, that's-
4 feet needs a
Right.
fence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just-
I mean, typically, like when we get questions about walls under 4 feet in just run-of-the-mill building permit.
That's a
you know.
non-engineered wall. So,
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you could,
That's going to help.
if
yeah.
you could put in, again, you could probably get a couple there with just some minor walls.
Find
right,
some
as
shallow
opposed to-
grading, carve it out.
If we move the dumpster, we might be able to sneak it into the bank to.
Right.
Yeah.
To hide it a little bit.
And that's ideally where you want it too.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
For visual.
Okay, I'm willing to contingent approve it if everybody else
Okay.
has a comfort level with that.
Good. We satisfied with that? Okay, could I have a motion to recommend approval to town council?
Oh, you know what,
Based on-
before we vote, I mean, I don't think we have anyone that's here to make public
Oh.
comment, but since we didn't
Okay.
have the motion on the agenda,
We don't have anybody in the room, that's for
is there
sure.
anyone that is viewing at home? I'm gonna take this plan down so I can see the Zoom a little bit better. Is there anybody viewing at home that wanted to make a public comment? Type in the chat now, please, if so. Let's give it a 30 seconds. But not seeing anything.
Don't see
Yeah.
anybody. Okay, can we have a motion to approve this, to recommend approval rather, based on a parking count of 147?
So moved. Go with Lamar, it's his last one.
Motion to conditionally approve upon discovery of 12 additional parking spots.
Second?
I'm willing to second it.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, all right. Got a little bit of work left to do. Thanks for coming in,
Thank
Kevin.
you.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Okay, I saw the third item, staff update, passage of backyard chicken ordinance program.
Oh, yeah,
That was
Lamar, you're
on-
gonna be excited. We
That
made
was on
this in.
TV tonight.
Amazing.
Oh, gosh,
It
is
was
it really?
on KDK TV tonight.
We just, all the exciting things, the important things in Mccann are always reported on.
Wow.
That's what I'm gonna get home and see if I have a voicemail from my mom that says, hey, Linda called and said you're on TV again. So.
I'm going to buy chicken tonight. Get an
So,
egg, a giant eagle, I'm gonna put put it under a light.
We'll have omelets next month.
Get a building permit first. So yeah, I just wanted to update you all since I know everybody worked really hard on the review of the various iterations. Council has passed both the zoning ordinance piece as well as the general nuisance piece, which regulates, the care and keeping of the chickens. Yes, yeah, they must be taken care of adequately, protected from predators and so on.
Better than your dog.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, we are ready to process the building zoning permits for the coops and the runs. Council ended up settling on that 50-foot setback because it opens up, a lot of the properties that aren't what we would refer to as estate lots while still having the denser neighborhoods, for now,
Restricted.
chicken free, unless the program goes well, maybe, that's something that would be reevaluated, but it's a little too early to tell whether that's on the table. But that said, the screening fences and everything that we all talked about, that's in there. The hobby farm reference, as Mr. Wakauskas had requested, I was on board with that. So we ended up removing that specific reference in the ordinance. So it's a little more clear, that this isn't hitting any existing farms.
Noise ordinance was baked in the cake. Is that-
Yeah. So the noise ordinances in general, like that still covers chicken or not. But that said, there's also specific references to basically you can't make a nuisance upon your neighbor for noise, odor, so on and so forth. No roosters, so we won't have any crowing roosters. If anyone has any questions about chicken permits, give us a call at either the building or the zoning department. But there is a guideline sheet in the online file center section of the website if anybody would like to know how on earth they can get chickens here. But again, since everyone had put in a lot of work in that, I just wanted to make sure that I updated the group as to it coming to fruition. So
Is anything grandfathered in if they already have their coop, or if they already have a rooster, or if any of that, is that grandfathered in under the new ordinance?
So if you're not like an actual designated farm property, which was the existing procedure prior to all of this, then you shouldn't have had them anyway. And passing this does not grandfather your illegal coop. And because you would still need to go through, even if it's an okay coop to have eventually, you still have to go through the zoning review and get a permit
But
issued.
I only bring it up because a friend of mine who lives in Mccanna says that he hears a rooster.
Oh,
And I said, well, why don't you, he said, I don't know where it's coming from.
yeah.
Specifically. And, but he says he hears a rooster. And I told him, I said, I don't know whether that rooster
Yeah,
is grandfathered or not.
that is not a grandfathered rooster.
Okay.
No.
In fact, that would even be a banned rooster. Right,
No, he
exactly.
doesn't live near a farm.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a farm then.
There's an illegal rooster somewhere out
Yeah.
there.
Roosters.
Okay,
Okay,
good to go.
item 4, resignation of Lamar Williams. We understand he got a better offer.
Yeah.
Better subjective. But yeah, I really appreciate working with all of you guys over the last
I voted against
few
him.
years. Did you?
Yes, you really, yeah. Didn't want him to leave, yeah.
No, but
Just telling you, so you know.
yeah, technology advisory. I was excited when they actually got formed. And I was like, oh, and it filled up, and I was like, okay, well, that's cool. And then there's like 3 spots. I'm like, I should yeah, I should go.
I think you can do 2, man. I mean, come on.
Unfortunately, we have to get you out.
There you go. What time is it?
So tell your friends.
Hmm?
No, I worked really hard to change that. So tell your friends
Yeah.
who might be interested in filling that spot. We're gonna be posting those so they can apply.
Will do. And,
Is this your last meeting?
This is my last meeting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Off the greener pastures, Ted. We broke him in here and he just has to move on to something better.
I got to infect the rest of Mccanna's town.
Yeah, well, see, now you're lucky because you got to work with one of our 2 departmental assistants, Christine here, and now you get to work with Melinda. So you're doing the whole building.
She's
and
awesome
planning
already.
gamut.
She's
Yeah.
good.
Stay
Yeah.
focused, aren't you?
Yeah. We're ready to go.
Okay. Item 5, approval of July 6th, 2021.
Do we have to do a motion on Lamar or is that a non?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think it matters.
So we can't vote no.
No.
Okay, shucks. Okay.
Okay, 2006 minutes.
I abstain.
Abstain.
I abstain.
Wow.
We've got 3 abstentions, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 people that were here.
I was not here.
You
Which
know,
were
you
last
can watch
minute,
the videos. You don't have to abstain. You can watch the video and still vote. So
Oh.
just so you know, yeah, I mean, because it's the same thing. You're watching the video on the town Facebook page. Just for future reference, just because you're not here, you don't have to abstain. You can
didn't
watch
realize
the
that.
video. Yeah, you can watch the video and say, yes, these minutes represent what happened in the meeting. So just for future notice.
Okay.
You know.
Could I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Greg,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Brendan, are you going to vote?
I abstained.
No, you weren't there?
I wasn't
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Corhole, if we have a 303, does that pass the minutes?
Yes.
All right.
Say, worst case, you get Jonathan to,
He's not here.
Well, he's not here.
I mean, he can vote on the motion.
Yeah, you can.
In abstention.
Yeah.
Okay. General public comment. I don't think we have any public watching tonight, do we?
We have one person that I'm not sure of in the audience, but I do not see anything in the chat that they have signed up for public comment.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Steve, if a motion is made and it's tied, I thought the motion failed.
Well, there were 3 positives, 0 negatives, and 3 abstentions. So the majority of votes cast carry the motion.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any other business that anyone has? Okay. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're done. Thanks,
All right.
Brendan.
3 more minutes, National Night Out.
Thank you, everyone.
What is going, tell me